Assalamualaikum, good day everyone. I'm Janusin B. Sumandar. Today I'm discussing an important provision of our Constitution, which is Section 12. Section 12, the member of the Supreme Court and of other courts established by law shall not be designated to any agency performing quasi-judicial or administrative functions. So, this section means that judges, especially the justice of the Supreme Court and other courts, are not allowed to work in government agencies that administrative or quasi-judicial work like investigating, regulating, or making decisions similar to courts. So why is this important? Judges should only focus deciding court cases. It helps keep the judiciary independent and fair. If judges also work in government agencies, they might become unbiased or influenced. In short, judges must stay in the court only. They cannot be given other government jobs that involve decision making outside the courts. Purpose and rationale. Judges focus exclusively on judicial duties, preventing dilution of judicial attention and resources. So, judges should focus only on court work like hearing cases and making decisions. This way, their time and energy are not divided and they can do their job well. So, the next one is conflicts of interest are avoided. To avoid conflicts of interest, judges should not be put in positions where they make a decision in government office and later judge the same decision in court. That wouldn't be fair. Next, separation of powers is maintained. To maintain separation of powers, the government has three branches and each has its own role. This rule helps keep the judiciary separate from the executive and legislative branches, so no branch becomes too powerful. So the last one is impartiality is preserved. To keep judges impartial, judges must stay neutral and fair. If they are involved in making government policies, they might be influenced when deciding cases which can affect fairness. In short, this rule exists so judges stay focused, fair, independent, and trustworthy. So let's proceed to Section 13. Section 13. The conclusions of the Supreme Court in any case submitted to it for decision in bank or in division shall be reached in consultation before the case is assigned to a member for the writing of the opinion of the court. A certification to this effect signed by the Chief Justice shall be issued and a copy hereof attached to the record of the case and served upon the parties. Any member who took no part or dissented or abstained from a decision or resolution must state the reason. Therefore, the same requirement shall be observed by all lower collegiate courts. So, before the Supreme Court release a decision, the justice must first discuss and consult with each other, either as a whole or in groups. Only after they agree will one justice be assigned to write in the official decision of the court. The Chief Justice must certify that this consultation really happened, and this certification is shared with the parties involved in the case. If justice did not join, disagree, abstain, they must explain why. The same rules apply to lower courts that decide cases as a group. In short, decisions are made after group decision, not by one judge alone, to ensure fairness and transparency. So the purpose and the rationale of this section. Collective wisdom. Court decisions reflect genuine consultation among members. Collective wisdom. Court decisions come from group discussion and not just one judge's opinion. This helps make better and wiser decisions. Next, transparency. The decision-making process is documented and accessible to parties. Transparency. The court shows that the decision-making process was proper and documented so the parties know it was done fairly. So next one is accountability. Dissenting or abstaining justices must publicly explain their positions. So accountability is If a justice disagrees or does not join, they must explain why. So they are responsible for their positions. And legitimacy. Public confidence is enhanced through transparent processes. So legitimacy, because of the process is open and clear, people must trust the court more and believe its decisions are fair. So in short, group discussion plus transparency equal to fair, trusted court decisions. So let's proceed to section 14. Section 14. No decision shall be rendered by any court without expressing therein clearly and distinctly the facts and the law on which it is based. So basically, this section means that courts cannot decide a case without explaining the reason. Every decision must clearly state the fact of the case and the law used to reach that decision. In short, courts must explain why and how they made the decision so people can understand that it is fair and legal. Purpose and rationale. Transparency. Parties and the public can understand why courts rule as they do. So transparency, the parties and the public can understand why the courts made its decision. Accountability. Judges must articulate legal reasoning, not arbitrary conclusion. So accountability, judges must clearly explain their legal reasoning, not make random or unsupported conclusions. Appellate review. Higher courts can meaningfully review decisions only if reasoning is clear. So appellate review, higher courts can properly review check decisions only when the reasoning is clear. Next, rule of law. Predictability and consistency require articulated legal principles. Rule of law. Clear legal explanations help ensure consistency and predictability in court decisions. Due process. Parties have a right to know the basis for decision affecting their rights. So due process is parties have the right to know the basis of decisions that affect their rights. In short, clear court's decision promote fairness, understanding, and trust in the justice system. So next, let's proceed to section 15. Section 15. All cases or matters filed after the effectivity of this constitution must be decided or resolved within 24 months from date of submission for the Supreme Court, and unless reduced by the Supreme Court, 12 months for all lower collegiate courts and 3 months for all other lower courts. So basically, the section sets deadlines for courts to decide cases after they are submitted. Supreme Court must decide within 24 months. Lower collegiate courts must decide within 12 months unless the Supreme Court shortens it. All the lower courts must decide within 3 months. In short, courts are required to resolve cases on time. So justice is quick, fair, and not delayed. Let's proceed to next page. So for here, I will explain a short explanation of these definitions. Second one is case submitted. A case is considered ready for decision once all required documents or briefs are filed. The third one is certification after delay. If the court exceeds the time limit, the Chief Justice or presiding judge must issue a certification explaining the delay and send it to the parties. The fourth one, which is the last one, is decision still required. Even after the deadline, the court must immediately decide the case. Delays are not allowed to continue. In short, once a case is ready, courts have deadlines, must explain delays, and must still decide without further postponements. Purpose and rationale. Speedy justice delayed is justice denied. So, speedy justice cases must be decided on time. Delays can deny justice. Next, accountability. Judges face clear deadlines and must explain delays. So accountability, judges have deadlines and must explain any delays. And next is public confidence. Timely decision enhance trust in the judiciary. Next, constitutional right complements the constitutional right to speedy disposition of cases, Article 8, Section 16. Reduced backlog. Systematic pressure to decide cases prevents accumulation of pending matters. So, reduced backlog deadline helps prevent cases from piling up. In short, time limits ensure fast, fair, and trustworthy justice for everyone. So, let's proceed to the next, which is the last section, Section 16. The Supreme Court shall, within 30 days from the opening of each regular session of the Congress, submit to the President and Congress an annual report on the operation and activities of the judiciary. So this section says that the Supreme Court must report to the President and Congress every year that they have 30 days from the start of Congress regular session to submit a report about how the courts are operating and what activities they have done. In short, the Supreme Court must keep the government informed about the workings of the judiciary to ensure transparency and accountability. Purpose and rationale. Transparency. The judiciary operations are open to scrutiny. The transparency court's work is open and can be checked. So next, accountability. The judiciary must report on its performance. So the judiciary must report on how it's performing. And the next one is legislative oversight. Congress receives information needed for resources allocation and legislation. Legislative oversight. Congress gets the information it needs for budgeting and making laws. Executive coordination. The President is informed of judicial needs and challenges. The last one, public information. Through Congress, the public learns about the state of judiciary. The public learns through Congress about the state of the judiciary. And that's all. Arigato, thanks.